I'm not trying to look like anybody else. I'm trying to look like me.
I'm gonna be thinking about that for the rest of the day.
How do I feel? I feel amazing.
I didn't know what help existed for me, and I was really lucky to find it. So just knowing that there are people and spaces that exist to help you on this, and you're not weak for asking for help.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Basics, a series where we talk about mental health. In this episode, we're talking about the connection between the mind and body, more specifically, how movement of any kind impacts our mental well-being. Before we dive into the conversation, we want to introduce you to today's crew. So I'm Cody. I've been at Twillow for almost 2 years, and if knowing I'm an Aquarius who loves Taylor Swift doesn't tell you all you need to know, I don't know what will.
I'm Kat. I live in Colorado, and I'm super excited that camping season and backpacking season has started. And that's all I can think about right now. And I've been at Trait Love for almost 8 years.
Hi there, I'm Alex. I have been a designer at Twillow for about 8 years now. If I'm not working, I am usually at the movie theaters trying to sneak in a full meal from Chick-fil-A.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a retired college athlete turned nonprofit fundraising manager who's learning how to play sports for the fun of it again. I've been at Trait Love for a little over 3 years, and some of my favorite things are cats, sunrises, and cinnamon rolls.
So let's just get right into it. So when you think about movement and using it to help your mental health, what comes to mind? What specifically comes to mind? Anyone can start off with that. That's open to the everybody.
We're the class.
Honestly, just like getting outside. Like movement has meant a lot of different things over the course of my life. Sometimes it's like a super high intense workout where I'm like drenched in sweat, and other times it's like, no, I can just go for a walk. Like that's movement too. And being outside is like, I consider being outside and moving my body as like one of the same.
I love that.
I think, doing something as normal as like just going for a quick mental health break walk during the day is really nice. But then I also really love to go to the gym and get like a rigorous workout in. Both of those things really help my mental health a lot.
For me, I think it's been like my consistent safe place. Like movement has looked different throughout my course of my life, and throughout every season it's like the place that I go to feel connected, the place that I go to, the thing that I do to be grounded, to like if I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm happy, I'm like, this is the best avenue for me to experience and like move through these feelings and emotions. I find it first as like my safe place.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. Like it's a great place to like channel my emotions. Like something happened earlier and I'm real mad about it. Like I need to go like lift something heavy. But it wasn't always like that. I used to hate exercise, working out, and then I kind of just started going to the gym one time and got really into it, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite thing. And yeah, I do get in these periods sometimes where it feels like it has to be this rigorous workout, but then Katie, kind of like what you were saying, I'm kind of like, oh no, even just like going on a walk, like something so simple, it helps so much. So it's kind of just like I went from hating exercise to like, this is so good for me. And that was great. But like, speaking of that, what is your guys' relationship with movement and exercise, anything, like any sort of movement? What's your relationship, and like what was that like in the past? Has it always been the same?
It's changed a lot in the terms of like, I used to get outside every day and play golf, and now like I graduated, I played throughout college, and I graduated, I was like, what do I do now? Like movement looks so different, and I wasn't getting workout plans handed to me. I wasn't being told to be at practice at this time. And so I had to figure out what movement meant to me again. Like I would get upset if I wasn't lifting as heavy or playing as well, but it just looks different in different seasons of life. So I got into hiking, I got into like doing other sports and like learning how to exist and enjoy the movement outside of just competitive sport.
I would say for me, my relationship with movement, I am a very typical like go to the gym and lift weights kind of guy. Like most weekday mornings, I will start my day by going and working out in the morning, and that really helps kind of set the tone for me, because there's I don't know, there's a feeling of like no matter what happens after that, like I've already gotten a decent workout in. And so like regardless of like what I accomplished that day or like what gets done on my to-do list, like I've still been able to take care of myself and still have been able to like, you know, get some endorphins out and get that blood flowing. And that has always really benefited me. Um, so I would say I haven't always been that way, but like for the last few years, that's really been a priority for me in how I take care of myself.
What was that switch for you? Like, you were like, maybe I wasn't doing it all the time regularly, and now you are. Like, what was the switch?
I so the pandemic happened in 2020, and
Ever heard of it?
I just
I'm familiar with that.
I don't know if you've heard of this thing. But then so like, you know, March 2020 happened and I was like, okay, let me sit down. And then I stayed seated the entire year and I was like, okay, I gotta get out. I gotta like go move my body some. So that was a real catalyst for that.
I've had like earlier. I'm saying it's my safe place, and it really was. And it was like my outlet to it. But at a time, I was in sports, playing a lot of different sports in high school and middle school. Like basically any free moment I had, I was spending it in sports and athletics. And so I would do like I was on two teams in the same season. Like everything was just really intense. Um, and I'd do like club and then varsity and then in college I played college soccer. And so just like, while it was my safe place, it was like my home away from home. It's a thing I could rely on. It was a great way for my energy, my emotions to just like get and pour myself into. It did create a level of intensity that became like really unhealthy for me. And so once I started finding other tools to like aid in my mental health care, like I was able to really evaluate more closely my relationship with movement. Like it was so like I couldn't do anything that wasn't intense. Doing yoga freaked me out. I was like, I can't slow down this sweat. Like I can't slow down and do stretching. You're joking. And so like once I became a more grounded, compassionate person to myself, I was able to open the door to like a myriad of experiences.
Yeah.
I feel that like definitely was on team like no days off. Like why would I take a day off if I'm trying to like be the best? And like that was present throughout college. And then, you know, towards the end of my college career, I kind of was like, I think I'm gonna take a break now. Like, I think we can do that. But still, like restorative yoga is wonderful and beautiful, but it's like that's not like reframing what I count as like exercise or movement is like truly just like, did I go for a walk? Did I walk to the store or something today? Like that counts as movement. It doesn't have to be like I don't have this have to be the most intense experience of my life for it to count as something movement and to you know bring myself joy. You said something else about like having compassion for yourself and finding that compassion, and then you can kind of explore other ways of movement. And I feel that same way, like being compassionate to your younger self or to your more competitive or your more intense self, and be like, hey, no, it doesn't. This is not a punishment. This should bring you joy. And if it's not bringing you joy, like how can we reframe it so it does bring you joy?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of like, I really, for myself, have to really evaluate like what my motivations are for going to the gym. Like if I'm on an elliptical, I have to really like mentally like be like, this is really good for your heart. This is good cardio. This isn't about how many calories you're burning in the next many minutes, you know? And so, and then like other times I go to the gym and I end up like lifting like 2 sets of something. And then I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I'm just like, I think it's more important that I go. Like I've still like, this is still a healthy practice and a healthy habit that I've gotten into of like still going to the gym, but then I'm allowed to leave if I need to. Like I don't need to stay. Like
you don't need to leave it all on the mat.
Yeah.
Because I recently started going back to the gym and I was like, okay, I don't I used to do this all the time. I used to be really good at it and used to pride myself about how much I could squat. And now I'm like, I don't even know if I could pick up a bar, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but I want to go back to the gym. So like, I'm going to baby step it. Like I just went back and I was like, if it's a new space and I don't like know the surroundings, it's kind of like looking up the menu for a restaurant beforehand. Like I didn't know what the space looked like. I was anxious going in. I was like, we're just going to go, we're going to find the treadmills and we're going to walk on it. And if you feel good walking, maybe you'll run a little bit. And so I just went and walked on the treadmill for a little bit. And once I was comfortable with that, I was like, okay, now we're going to go lift some weights. Like, you know how to pick up a weight and lift it. You didn't forget how to do that. So starting small and then working back up to like, okay, we're going to just get comfortable in this space. And once I'm comfortable in the space, I'm going to go try new things. And that was just so helpful for me. It's like, I don't have to go, it doesn't have to go 0 to 100. Like we can go 0 to like 10 to 20. We can work up to something that feels a little bit scary at first, like going over with all the people who are like, oh my God, you're so strong and beautiful. But now I can go over there and be like, hey, I can hold my own. I can do that exercise too, you know?
Yeah.
I love what you guys are bringing up because I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. Like when you think of exercise or movement in general, you think of what it does to your body and what it does, not necessarily to your mental health at first. Like unless you're in the mental health space, and you're like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Too. But I think most people relate to like, if I exercise, it changes my body. And I love that we're all kind of talking about this idea of like the deeper side of movement and what it does for ourselves. But how did you get to that place? How did you, because there's this impulse that's like to compare, to contrast, to be like, I don't look like that. I don't know that I could ever look like that. Like, oh, they got it. Like, I can't even stand next to them. I'm intimidated. Like, how did you reframe it to now where you're confident in these spaces? And maybe it's not all the time, but like confident enough to go to invest this time for yourself. I feel like that could be really to hear.
Yeah. Like also an embarrassing story about myself going to the gym for the very first time ever. When I went to college, I never worked out before. And like we had team lifts twice a week at 6 a.m. And I was like, the first time I went to work out, everyone was like, don't pick up that weight. Like you might like seriously break in half. Like they were concerned that I was going to pick up a 10-pound dumbbell and just like split in half, you know? And I was like, I truly didn't know. I couldn't do a push-up like everyone else doing like proper push-ups. I was over here like doing a push-up on the wall. Like I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning this for the first time. I was super embarrassed because like, well, this, you know, I'm 18, 19 years old. I probably should know how to like work out a little bit. But finding myself in a sort of similar position again, where I'm like having to relearn how to go to the gym and exist in this space, not as a punishment. Like I'm not doing this because I need to look a certain way. It was just I enjoy the way I feel when I'm moving my body consistently. I feel like I noticeable differences in my outlook and in my mood when I have moved my body, whether it's a little bit or, you know, a lot of it, whatever it is, just finding the courage to just start. And even if that start is small, is a good way to do it. Like if you don't want to go to a gym yet, maybe just take a walk in your neighborhood. And once you feel comfortable with that, maybe go to a gym and start walking on a treadmill, you know, just finding little ways to start to exist in these spaces that might seem intimidating.
And even just like starting small, like you can just do stretches at home to like help you get used to like using your body that's not just sitting typing at a computer all day, you know, figuring out how to like be able to listen to your body, but then also be able to tell your body different things too is good and is a good practice to get into. For me, going to the gym, there's all different kinds of bodies at the gym, which I've, you know, learned to really appreciate. You know, there are guys who are significantly more muscular than me who are lifting really light, or like, you know, or on the other end of the spectrum, there are guys that are less muscular but are going super hard, lifting super heavy. And so there's everything in between. And so it's, you know, it's really important to realize that it's not a competition. You know, you can start wherever you're at. And it's not something, you don't necessarily get like specific gold stars for like how much you lift or like how long you lift or anything like that. So there's not any kind of pressure, you know, you can just do what works for you, and maybe the next week do it a little bit harder or do it a little bit softer. There's not like a roadmap or a checklist that you have to do, and I've really appreciated that with working out.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think like people are paying less attention to you than you think they are. Like it's
Oh,
easy to walk into a space and be like, everyone's looking at me. And then I was like, wait a second, am I looking at everybody? Like, no one's looking at me. Everyone's too concerned with themselves. Like,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
okay.
Very much that. Like that's kind of what helped me too, was like I would always be like, everyone's judging me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you are so concerned about people judging. Everyone else is doing the same thing. They're sitting here like, is someone looking at me? Is someone
People are
But,
just
like-
looking at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are in there. We're in there fighting our demons. Like I'm like, because then I think about it, when I'm not sitting here thinking about is someone judging me, I am so zoned out and just like into what I'm doing. I'm like, everyone else is doing the same thing.
Exactly.
But like also, what helped me with like the comparing thing was like, I have a friend who is like muscular. Like he's not like he had abs. The man's is built, but I am not like that. My upper body is not like that. I have never liked upper body day. It is leg day every day of the week for me.
Yes, Cody.
Because also like, because I think when I went, it was like, part of the reason that happened is because like, when I'm carrying around a lot of weight for years, my legs are naturally stronger. So I was
Mhm.
really good at leg day. So I was like, let's stick with this. So my friend who's like really built, he was like, oh my God, your legs look great. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, this person who I would be like, I'm sitting here being like, oh, if I could only look like him. He's sitting here being like, if I could have your legs. Like, everyone's kind of like, no one's really happy. So like, everyone wants something else that someone has. So why does it matter? Like, I may
Mhm.
not like this part of my body, but the person who I wish I had their body, they don't like theirs either. So like, we have the body we're in. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
We're all
think
just
that helped a
working to
lot.
accept our own bodies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I related a lot to that as growing up because I didn't find a lot of muscular girls. Like I've always been really strong. Like
Mhm.
really, really strong. And so I would look around me and I'm like, oh, I am like 1 out of 10. Like the rest of you all look either comparable or similar. And so I struggled a lot growing up with like my femininity. Like I'm not female enough. I'm not girl. Like my body is more like I'm one of the boys. Is it? So I like put on this personality because of the way my body looked. And the whole family was athletes, but even the women in my family look more feminine from my lens than I do. And so I just always wrestled with that. I was always like, and I'll say like a decade or two ago, the culture of gym and working out was very different than it is now. And so I really wrestled with that a ton because even though I was getting stronger and I was super fit because I was in athletics all the time, I just look around and I'm like, you're too strong. You're too fit. You're too this because a woman wouldn't look like this. A woman has
Mhm.
X, Y, or Z. And so you are not female enough. And the stronger you get, the less you are like that. And so I really wrestled with it because it was part of my like, if you're good at athletics, you're athletic. And like you have more of a stronger build. And so I was like, I'm trying to get stronger. It was just so hard.
Yeah.
And then I remember the culture kind of changing a lot where like women being strong was like praised and like women going to the gym and just kicking ass was like, get it, girl. I was like, this is great. Like I'm in the club now. Like I can do like I'm a strong girly and it's cool. And so it was I navigated that a lot growing up because I was like, your legs are just so big and strong. Like that is disgusting. Like I didn't really like it. And then I worked through it and I had this positive mindset of like, oh, we all have our bodies and it's beautiful. And then I just think there's like seasons where you got to reframe it. Like another one for me was when I had a kid. And I knew going into it that I was like, your body's going to change, but you get a baby. That's amazing. And then after that, I'm like, this sucks. This is the worst. I hate this. I don't like how I look anymore. And I had to do another reframe of like, which helped from the original of like, oh, you're too strong. I was like, okay, this is different. This is still beautiful. You're allowed a season. You're allowed to take this slow. You're allowed, because I had a child during the pandemic. So like for me, going out, getting movement, doing all that was like really tough. And I was really isolated and alone. So it felt like I had higher expectations for myself of like, I was going to get back at it. I was going to get it back. Blah, blah, blah. And I just did it. And I was like, you know, this is a beautiful opportunity for you to have grace for yourself. And it took a lot of pressure on like, now I don't feel like, I mean, it creeps up. I think we all can relate to struggling with like feeling lacking in some capacity, no matter where we're at in the fitness scale or what our bodies look like. Like, I love what you said, Cody, about like, you always are going to want what you don't have, you know, like, and I think that's just so true as humans. And so I just think like I found my journey of like getting more at peace with no matter what, because I fluctuate like is wild. Like, and so I just am like, no matter where I'm at, I can be content. I am a person who's lovable and enough. And so that is connected to what my body looks like, what I look like, what my fitness level is at any given point. And so I think it's just I felt my journey has been like more grounded, and it puts less pressure of like, okay, I'm only here to lose the weight. I'm only here to get stronger. I'm only here to look a certain way. And more like, I'm here because I'm showing up for myself. I'm showing some love for myself. I'm moving and grooving. So
that's one of the things that I've loved about working out is that I can, if I'm in the gym consistently, I can see progress. And like I can feel progress in my body, like, oh, this curling this amount of weight, you know, 5 weeks ago or last year, I was not able to do this, or I could have done this, but it would have been really bad form, and or like I'm so much stronger, or these moves are so much easier for me now than they used to be, and I've enjoyed being able to see that kind of progress and those numbers change. And I can just fully ignore the numbers on the scale, you know, like I'm working out to get stronger, and that's the number that's really exciting for me rather than, you know, the number on the scale. And so I've really enjoyed that. Or like, you know, I used to not be able to do a single pull-up, and now I can do, you know, 2. You know, like it's progress is just such a fluid thing, and it's so individual too, you know.
It's like self-defined.
Yeah. And I remember thinking like, I'm not trying to look like anybody else. I'm trying to look like me, just to look more like me, you know? I think that's been something I've had to think about too.
That was crazy. I don't even know. Like you just said, I'm trying to look like me. I'm going to be thinking about that for the rest of the day.
Trying to look pipe and feel like me.
Yeah.
I think that's for me, like the feel. I you know, I wrestle with like, do I look like my fittest? And then I'm like, how do I feel? You know, like, how do I want to feel? And I know for me, if I get up in the morning and it's like the first thing I do, and it doesn't have to be super intense. I just got to get up and do it. It's my first thing I'm caring for myself. I feel amazing. The other day, I've like been slacking on my intentionality in this area of my life. And the other day I did it. And I did it this morning too. And I was like, the rest of the day I was on 10. I was like, I'm jacked to be alive. I love it. He's like, let's take on all the challenges. I'm like, oh, I think I just woke up and took care of myself.
Yeah.
Like, you should just, it's just a good reminder. I'm like, you should just do that. You should just make it happen and be intentional about that. Because I'm like, it really makes such a difference for me. We know that there's a lot of, you know, like things that if you're someone who this kind of movement isn't accessible to you, it can feel even more isolating. And there's unique barriers that exist for you. But there's a lot of what's great about what's happening with the internet is that it's making more kinds of movement available to those that have limitations. So there's a lot of beautiful somatic movement options that have nothing to do with like standing or moving. Like you can just be sitting still and you can do kind of either a rigorous or a more like softer version of movement that is kind to yourself but is accessible, but you're still being able to care for your physical well-being, even with your limitations. And that's what's really awesome, is that movement space has grown to be more inclusive.
And you know where a great place to get like a somatic movement video is? In our mental health toolkit, which is available when you register for the 5K.
Okay, our 5K is back. We're really excited. We took a little break from it last year, but it's back. It's a fan favorite. People are really excited. And this year, it's not just the run for it, it's the move for it 5K plus. So moving your body in any way that feels good for you. In the past, we've had people rollerblade, people swim, people do yoga. You can do breath work. You know, figure out how to do 3.1 miles of breath work. However that looks like for you, we want you to move in a way that feels good. And that's what we'll be doing on May 25th in Melbourne, Florida, and across the world. The plus part is really exciting though. So we have our mental health toolkit. I'm gonna pass it back to Kat because she knows more about that than I do. But I'm really excited. We've been hearing about the mental health toolkit. It's been, I don't know, a couple months now, and it was, you know, teased to us a couple of times. And just the full toolkit is available now for all of our fundraisers. And I think it is potentially the best part of our 5K this year.
Yeah, we originally set out and we were like, oh, we're going to host the 5K. Let's also, like, we know that mental health and caring for our mental health is more than just movement. It's a myriad of tools that you have. Like, what else can we offer for someone as they're, like, preparing to do this? And we had a lot of different ideas. It started off kind of small, and then it became really robust really quickly, which is both a good thing, and it was challenging to create in a month. But it came out beautifully. We have a lot of great things included. There's videos with therapists that go through guided practices based on unique mental health experiences. There are affirmations, there's music playlists, there's worksheets, and there's a lot of great, which we mentioned earlier, like a somatic movement. There's these guided practices. So it was meditation, and they're all really accessible. It's meant to take out the barriers that usually exist. So like meditation, not my favorite. So when you were like, maybe you could do breath work for 3.1 miles. That sounds harder to me. I would rather walk 3.1 miles. I would throw up trying to figure out how to do work that long. And stay comfy.
But I think that's the best thing about our 5K, our Move For It 5K Plus, is there's so many different ways to move for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a resource that it gets early access for everybody who's participating, and we will make it live to the rest of our audience for free later this year.
Yeah, so the 5K is taking place locally and virtually. Obviously, not everyone can get to Florida, so I'll be doing it virtually. But you can find out more information or register at aloha.com/move4it5K.
Katie, well, I actually have a question for you, because I know we've talked about already our college experiences, and when you got out of college, you were like, I want to create something that cares for like college athletes' mental health. I want to ask you a question. For those who are in it, who are in the college grind, the college athletic grind, do you have a word of encouragement or advice? Because you're kind of still in it, so there's always this wrestling, like, until you leave, there's like, I'm here. So, like, if you had a word of encouragement or advice to those who are, like, in that grind, struggling with their mental health, but, like, also having to perform, what would you say?
Yeah, I think if, like, I try to talk to my younger self, I'm like, okay, what would I say? What would I say to the 20-year-old version of myself when she was struggling? She didn't enjoy her sport. She didn't enjoy, like, waking up every day. And I would just, like, I didn't know what help existed for me, and I was really lucky to find it. So just knowing that there are people and spaces that exist to help you on this, and you're not weak for asking for help. You know, in so much of the athletic mindset, and, you know, college athletics, amateur athletics, professional athletics, is you have to do this, you have to be strong, and if you can't do it by yourself, then why are you here? And that's just, I want to take a bulldozer to that wall, because it's so not true. Like, there are so many people who want to help you, and you need the help too. Like, you can't do your sport alone. You can't do this life alone. Someone along the way helped you get to where you are now, and there are people where you are now to help you get to where you want to go. So just knowing that you can rely on your safe people, on your support systems, whether that is a trusted teammate, whether it's a coach, or seeking out the, you know, student athlete counseling services. That changed my life and is one of the biggest reasons why I'm still here, is because I found those services when I really needed them. So know that it's going to be okay. And there are people out there who want to help you.
People need other people.
People need other people. Maybe I should have worn that shirt. I wore my you deserve kindness shirt instead.
Let's close this out with saying something. The rest of us, say something to anybody who is struggling, or to ourselves in our past seasons when we were really having a hard time. What would you say?
Oh, I know. I would just say your worth does not come from the way your body looks or your physical capabilities. Yeah, actually, I'll just leave it at that.
I think I'm gonna say something like, you are beautiful. You can do this. You are a champion no matter your output. And just start where you can, do what you can when you can, and know that you and this time is sacred to you. So if you can protect it and keep out all the rest of the noise or the lies that you tell yourself, it's worth it.
Movement and taking care of your body shouldn't feel like a burden, or shouldn't feel like a chore or a checklist. There's no pressure. Just start wherever you're at and just have fun.
Yeah, just have fun.
Honestly, it's like Kayla said in the episode the other week that for her, movement and is like her recess, and that is so true.
Yes.
Just have fun. Just have
We
fun.
need adult recess. Yeah. Just you're gonna block off a recess break in between, first and third periods.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back soon with another episode. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and turn on the notification bell to get you notified every time I post a video. And as always, you don't have to do any of this alone. You can find resources by going to twaloa.com/find help. You're not weak for needing help, and we're so glad you're here. See you next time.